Well, hi friends, back again. So, if you'd seen last week's video, you would know that I had tried playing Firestaff Rapier and Bow Rapier for a little bit because I wanted to, I felt like I was just getting attacked too much. But I did kind of want to stick to the Learn to Play series where I was learning how to play a Bruiser. And so, last week, I decided to carry on playing Great Axe Warhammer, or at least the Bruiser sort of weapons, strength weapons, that Bruiser playstyle, but switch to light armor. And the reason I wanted to switch to light armor is because essentially in the open world and on OPR, when I'm in medium armor, I just keep getting run down so easily. I just needed that extra mobility to be able to create distance so I could line of sight people and 1vx people. So I just needed more mobility in my life. So I switched to light armor. And so this week is that kind of journey of me switching to light armor as I try to figure things out, as you will. Okay, so this is one of the first videos I did, this is one of the first things I did in light armor. And I just started off with arenas for some reason. And I could tell straight away, so this is not the first, this is one of the first arenas, but I had a few before this. But I started just noticing straight away that I was just way too squishy, as you can see here. Like, every time I get hit, I just take way too much damage. And so, I was just getting really, really frustrated. You know, obviously I liked the mobility of the light armor, but I just felt like I need to do something to increase my survivability. So, after dying over and over again, I decided to switch over to, change my con from 150 to 200 con. I also changed my weapon to the Warhammer. I was on the Hatchet in the last two. But you instantly, so this is the first arena, first round after switching to 200 con. And I could just notice a difference in my survivability and my tankiness immediately. So, yeah, I'm just going to let this video play out because you'll see that I'm just a lot more tanky. So that was kind of like a good start to starting to adapt to light armor. So, after changing the con to 200 and feeling a lot more tanky, I kind of wanted to push that a little bit further. So I was using refreshing evasion gear in those arenas, and I had some shirking sets in light armor. So I just thought, you know, because I want to play light and I want the mobility, but I'd also like to try to keep as much of that Bruiser kind of tankiness that I can, and obviously shirking fortification as a trait is like a really good trait for that because it makes you a lot more tanky. And one of the viewers from last week, and fair enough, brought up saying, could you really consider yourself a Bruiser if you're wearing light armor? And I understand where he is coming from, but if you wear shirking fortification on your light armor, I didn't really notice the difference too much between the medium armor and the light armor, except that I just really noticed the mobility from the light armor. So I still feel like I'm not quite as tanky as medium, which you'll see shortly in a duel that I do. But I'm still tanky enough. Like I can take a good punch in the face, but the mobility more than compensates for it. So yeah, I changed over to shirking fortification. I was lucky enough to be able to get a best in slot piece which had 3 traits that I wanted, including the shirking fortification and resilience. So that was pretty awesome. I was definitely still more tanky in medium armor, so I'm going to show you two videos fighting the same person. The first video is me wearing medium armor, and the second one is me wearing light armor. Now, obviously, I'm a lot more used to dueling in medium, but you can see in medium, well, not right now, but you can see that I can be a lot more, you'll see that I will be a lot more aggressive and willing to trade, because in medium armor, you can take those trades knowing that you can give as much damage as you take, and so you can really get in their face and be quite aggressive. So you can see that I kind of pretty much dominate this fight just because I can really get up there in their face. With light armor, it's a little bit different because you can't, unless they're wearing light armor, you can't necessarily do an equal trade with someone wearing medium armor. If you go up and start hitting them and they start hitting you back, you're going to lose that trade. So you do need to play a little bit more evasive. And I'm still trying to figure out this play style, so I need to get more practice. So I think medium armor is generally better in dueling against other bruisers, but I think one of the advantages that light armor does is that it allows you to chase down more ranged users like bows and fire styles, which I really, really like, because it basically means that if you can get good at light armor, you should be able to fight anything, which is kind of a good thing. I've also seen people use light armor that are really, really good duelers, so I think it's just I need to learn to play. Haha, funny the name of the series. But yeah, so I just need to learn to play light armor a bit better and get more practice dueling with it. And in the end, I can always just switch it up, so use medium armor in like wars or in duels, and switch to light armor when I'm in the open world and OPRs, etc. I did find that even though medium armor was quite good in duels against other bruisers, it just was so terrible in the open world and OPRs, because you just need that mobility to be able to get away from people, which light armor offers and medium doesn't. So although you might be better in a 1v1 situation against, you know, bruisers in medium armor, when you're out in the open world and people are shooting at you with bows, or you're needing to create a gap, yeah, medium armor, I find, starts to be very bad when you're on your own 1vx scene. It's decent if you're in a group. So I've been also playing around with Hatchet quite a bit this week. I've easily put as much time into the Hatchet as I have to the Great Axe and Warhammer. I still need to level it up, but it's interesting that when I went back and looked at all my videos of stuff I'd recorded, I hardly had any of my Hatchet, but I had a lot of my Great Axe and Warhammer. So that just goes to show how bad I am on the Hatchet, and I really am. This is probably one of my first duels on the Hatchet, and you can see I'm just no good on the Hatchet. Like, I just don't know what to do, keep missing all my shots. Yeah, just generally bad. So I went and fought Leos, my friend, over and over again on the Hatchet to try to get a little bit better. And I started to see how the Hatchet is good. The more I played with it in OPR, the more I dueled with it. What I like about the Hatchet is that it has better mobility. It has, with Berserk, it has better escape options, because you can use Berserk to get yourself out of trouble, especially in the open world and OPR. And also what I like is that it can apply burst really quickly. Like, it's not as predictable as the Warhammer is. You can just quickly run up to someone, start hitting them, and really put a lot of damage into them. So I think the Hatchet has a lot of potential for that. But in the end, I just feel like the Great Axe Warhammer, every time I play it in an OPR, or in the open world, or even in a duel, I just feel like it's just more devastating. Especially it's more devastating against groups. At the moment, my feeling is, having not played the Hatchet enough and not get it up, but at the moment my feeling is that the Great Axe Warhammer is a better setup, but you need to know how to use it. I think when you're on your own and you don't have a team, Hatchet can be good because you have those escape mechanisms available to you that the Warhammer doesn't give you, like Berserk. But if you're good at keeping yourself alive, I feel like the Great Axe Warhammer can output more damage just because of all the AoE damage it can do. And it's got big burst, but you need to be able to you know, like, it is quite a predictable attack with the Warhammer, so you need to be able to know how to bait out attacks and surprise them with those attacks so they get caught with it, if that makes sense. But I still need to play the Hatchet more before I can really draw any conclusions. This was a good little 1v1 in OPR where I got myself into, made a few mistakes, let's just say, got myself in quite a little pickle, but I managed to actually pull it back and kill him, which I thought was quite cool. I will say this about the Hatchet though, you really need to be able to time your attacks. So this guy, I kept fighting him in duels. This is when I was trying to learn how to play the Hatchet. So yeah, I'm pretty bad on the Hatchet, guys. So don't expect anything amazing. But I kept losing to him over and over. He just kept killing me when I was on my Hatchet. And I was just like, I keep missing all my attacks. Like, I keep trying to hit him with it, and then I keep missing him. But then I started to figure it out a little bit. So this is one of the last fight I had with him. And this, because I had to go after this. But I thought, okay, slow it down and just stop trying to rush everything and just try to time your attacks a little bit better. So it's just taking a little brief pause, just focusing on maybe getting those attacks off when I actually could get them off rather than trying to rush it. And it really turned the fight around, and I actually ended up winning, which I thought was also pretty cool. But anyway, I'm glad that the Learn to Play Bruiser series is back. Hope you enjoyed the next installment. We'll see you soon.